Do your children know how to manage time?
Welcome to Parenting Matters Now, a source of parenting advice a few minutes at a time.
Hi, this is Dr. Roger Smith of Parenting Matters Now. I can almost guarantee you that if your child you're picturing is 3 or under, the answer to that is absolutely no, because time is the concept of time is something that we develop over time and with maturity. And children that are young, time seems to stand still. And notoriously, they're saying, how much longer? How much longer? Because time has no measurement to them. And so whenever we often refer to our children or speak to our children, say, just a minute, that they don't know what that means. In fact, that makes me think of a famous episode of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, where he, in his usual very slow manner, says, "Do your parents ever tell you, just wait a minute? How long is a minute?" And so he said, "Let's watch." And so he watched the clock for a whole minute on live television, and so that children could see that a minute really was a long time for them. But that just goes to show that children do not know what the time is. So how do we train our children to manage time? How do we give them the concept of time? It begins very small. The younger they are, the shorter the time period you work with on the training, as far as, 10 seconds is what you would work on with a 3-year-old. 1 minute maybe for a 5-year-old. The older we get, the longer the time span is that we begin to focus on and give them a task that would take that amount of time to complete, and we train them. And as you get to be my age, then I have a sign above my computer screen, and it says, "What did you accomplish this year? And how do you know?" And so we get to a point where we're measuring our accomplishments or our time frame in weeks and months and years. But when your children are small, begin with a small task that first you train them how to do it, then you give them a time period to complete it. So maybe it's putting their clothes away that's already been folded. You say, now's the time to put your clothes away. When you get finished with that, we'll have ice cream. Naturally, you give them something as the desired thing they want to do next, but they have to complete their task. And then you can go, okay, and then you can time them and give them a sense of how long it is. But they also have this timer in their head. They're saying, I need to get finished so that I can start the movie. I can have ice cream. I can begin to swim or whatever the task, whatever the desired thing is. But start when your children are small. Give them something that is easy to finish, that they are motivated to finish. And that gives them a sense that they are using their time efficiently. They have a long list of things, and it's impossible to complete it in a short period of time. That doesn't train them to use their time efficiently. Think of ways with each child, where they are, things that they need to do, and things that can be done in a reasonable amount of time for their age. So for a school-age child, it may be putting away their bicycle and their helmet. It may be one other task outside that you say, go do that. When you get back, we will, and then you fill in the blank. We will eat. We will have a snack. We will. So it is a way of helping them learn to start and manage the time to be able to get back to the thing that they desire. And this is a lifelong training. We don't start training when they're 15. We don't complete the training when they are 7. And so it begins with small things, 10 seconds, a minute, maybe 5 minutes for a 8 or 10-year-old. And every child is different. Some have much more focus, but it is our job to help them to learn to stay on task and to manage the time, whatever the time frame is. Manage the time. And it is a privilege that we have to train them such that when they leave our home, they know that when they have a deadline, they can begin to kind of visualize how long the time actually is. Do they have time to play before they have to start work? Do they have time to talk on the phone before they begin their homework? Any number of tasks. That is a training process, and it begins when they're small. Start now. If you haven't already started, give them tasks that end with a reward, and that helps them to train their time management. It's Dr. Roger Smith with Parenting Matters Now.
Subscribe to Parenting Matters Now for more advice, or go to rogersmithmd.com to search for more topics. See you next time.